Throw it down, big man.
Welcome everybody back to the Throw It Down Big Fella podcast. We are here. I'm here. Thank you so much for joining me on this wonderful Tuesday morning, September 17th. I'm recording this. I am your host, Greg Rufus. Thank you so much for joining me on this day. We have a lot to talk about, you guys. A lot of things to talk about. Of course, we're going to recap the Sunday night football game. I didn't get to do that with my friend Bobby Barksdale. We did like all the games before the Sunday night. And of course, the dramatic Monday night football thriller, the Atlanta Falcons and Philadelphia Eagles. I have a lot to say about that. We'll get to those two games. Also, Diddy is arrested yesterday on the federal charges in New York. He is detained. I'll give you my thoughts on that. And also, Shannon Sharp's IG Live that was heard around all last week. I'll give you my thoughts on that, and also preview the week coming up for college football, and of course NFL Week 3. But before we get into all that, I want you guys to please subscribe to my podcast, Throw It Down Big Fella, and of course follow on Instagram at Throw It Down Big Fella Pod. Please subscribe, love, give me some comments, show the podcast some love. Great things coming up in the future, you guys. So just stay tuned for that. All right, you guys, without further ado, let me start with the Sunday night football game. Recap that first. The Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans, Caleb Williams, he got beaten. He took it to the woodshed and got pressured 36 times. 36 times. Just a rough night for Caleb. Threw 2 interceptions. DJ Moore, you can see they're frustrated with each other. They're 1-1. I mean, they have brighter things coming up in the future, but Houston Texans 2-0. They're a legit team. I think a lot of people just assume that they're going to be a good team, and they are going to be a good team. I kind of predicted them to at least get the division and probably go deep further in the playoffs. They're a complete team. There are several complete teams in the NFL that I'm sold on. One of them is Houston. Of course, the defending champion, Kansas City. The Los Angeles Chargers are really good. And the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, they're just like Sal. It might be the best defense in the NFL right now. But just a quick take on that Chicago-Houston game. Houston is great. Chicago has some work to do. Trying to see who they play next week. The schedule's next week. Of course, Houston, they play at Minnesota. That's going to be a really good game. Minnesota, another surprising 2-0 team. And Chicago plays the Indianapolis Colts. So looking forward ahead, I think, of course, Houston's going to be great. Chicago, give it some time, be patient. Offensive line needs some work. But I think that the sky's such a limit for Caleb. I'm not going to just put it all on Caleb, but the design play calls, the offensive line has to be better. I think they'll get their act together at some point during this season. But shout out to Houston, Sunday night football game. They came to play. It was closer than a lot of people thought, but their defense shut it down at the end, and they won the game 19-13. Okay, let me get to my Philadelphia Eagles and Atlanta Falcons game last night. What a game. Give credit where credit is due. Kirk Cousins, we know his record in primetime games. It's not, it's bad. But Kirk Cousins came to play. He threw the game-winning touchdown. A minute 56 left. He threw the touchdown to Drake London. He finished the game 20 of 29, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And I give Atlanta credit. They came back and won the game. They did what they're supposed to do. B.J. Robinson, 14 carries, 97 yards. Darren Mooney, 3 catches, 88 yards. And Drake London, like I said, caught the game-winning touchdown, 6 grabs, 54 yards. Good job, Atlanta. I'm not going to say it was lucky. I think y'all were just resilient the whole entire way. A lot of mistakes, though, on Philadelphia Eagles side. I will clearly say that. Jalen Hurts, 23 for 30, 183, a touchdown, and an INT. Very costly INT at the end. Saquon Barkley, 22 carries, 95 yards. Um, and let's see, and he also had four catches for 21 yards. Of course, Saquon, they're going to go to a lot of things wrong with that happened in the game last night. Philadelphia, Nick Sirianni did not take the 3 points in the first quarter. He decided to go for it, and of course, failed on a fourth and goal situation. Saquon Barkley dropped a potential game clincher, third down catch play. He dropped the ball. They settled for three. They were only up 15-21, and of course, Atlanta went on, drove down the field and got the touchdown. Jalen Hurts threw a costly INT when they needed just a field goal, threw it completely downfield, double coverage, and it was intercepted, probably triple coverage. I'm not really sure. My thoughts about this, I slept on it, thought about it, what could have, would have, should have. Uh, this team has a lot of flaws. I mean, I think there are several teams in the NFL that are good, but there are flaws. They're hurt. Defense not stepping up. The Philadelphia defense is not great. It's getting better. It has its strides to get better, but they need some help. They need some improvement on that, and to allow Kirk Cousins to just drive down the field. If you think about it, and the first game they played in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers, they could have easily lost that game if Jordan Love didn't get hurt. I'm here to say it. I'm gonna just keep it real. Jordan Love's injury, I think, allowed Philadelphia to win the game. If Jordan Love, because they were driving down the field, if you guys remember, to potentially go for the win. And of course, the injury happened to him. I'm wondering if Jordan Love was 100% healthy, would they have won that game? Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Like I said, that's how the NFL rolls. But there's a lot to be blamed. I think it was a total team effort how the Philadelphia Eagles lost. They lost this game. Atlanta won the game. Atlanta, who we thought they were. A lot of people predicted them to win the division. I actually predicted the Saints a while back to win a division and Atlanta to get in the playoffs. But I'm completely. I mean, it's still New Orleans is still they're 2-0 as well. So I mean, we'll definitely see. I think it's definitely a fight. So much for the NFC South being a laughingstock. they're they're legit. The New Orleans Saints are legit. So like I said, I mean, Philadelphia has they got a lot of work to do. So do a lot of other teams. Not jumping off the ship. It's not the end of the world. They just got some work to do. And of course, like I mentioned, the Philadelphia Eagles go down to the Big Easy and play the New Orleans Saints, a very, very tough matchup they have coming up. Let's see if they can respond. It's gonna be a tough game. We saw what the Saints did up in Dallas, went to Dallas and scored 44 points. 47 the first week against Carolina. Um, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. They gotta establish their defense. Rather if it's the pass rush defense, how to secure like they gotta secure it. And I think they got a good opportunity to do that with time we'll see. So I'm excited to see that. So moving forward. Atlanta, they play the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday Night Football. That should be a fun game. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce and them go down to the A. So let's just see how that goes moving forward. All right. Enough of my soapbox because I've done all my crying last night. Let me get to the Memphis Tigers. Memphis Tigers, what a great win they had against Florida State. It was a very impressive defensive effort to slow down Florida State the way they did to 12 points. Seth Hennigan, lights out, running back, lights out. Of course, they play Navy this coming up weekend, college football. Uh, I'm excited to see that. I will definitely be watching. I think the course is there. Like I said for Memphis, they they went into Florida State, won that game, and now, like I said, after this Navy game this week, they have MTSU, they have South Florida, North Texas. I mean, it's lining up in favor for the Memphis Tigers to do some damage and probably go undefeated and it's just been a long time coming. I can see that the excitement is back in Memphis Tigers and football at least. And so that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Other impressive things I saw from this past weekend in college football, Florida State, I'm sorry, Colorado defeated Colorado State. It was a lot of talking going on with Florida State. A lot of talking going on. And they backed it up. Shedeur Sanders talking to the quarterback. He had a lot of things to say. One of the players talked to Travis Hunter, gave him the too small after one play, and I think the next play after they threw an INT. So not smart for Colorado State, but Colorado, they definitely did their thing. Alabama roll tide, defeated Wisconsin. What a game between LSU and South Carolina. LSU overcoming a lot. They were trailing 17-0. The quarterback got hurt, South Carolina, unfortunately. What a game. What a comeback for LSU. They from the dead, they rise. And so what a historical comeback that was. I'm trying to think any other things that caught my eye. Notre Dame put a beat down on Purdue, 66-7, and just unbelievable. Like their response after their massive letdown the week before. Sent UT just they're just mercifully beating these people. Like they were at UT, destroyed Kent State 71-0. What an epic beatdown that was. Wake Forest, Ole Miss went to Wake Forest and won 40-6. Just continue to be their dominant self. Michigan won their game against Arkansas State. So yeah, I think for the most part, everybody took care of business, all the top 25. Now a little bit of depress. The number one team in the country, Georgia, what a nail biter against Kentucky, 13-12. How is that even possible? Well, I mean, it's possible because of the SEC, we get it, but Georgia just, I don't know. Maybe it was just one of those games. You know, you have one of those type of games in college football. It's a week-to-week thing. You know, it happens. It is what it is. But I would suggest they wake up, you know, because their next game is in 2 weeks against Alabama, marquee game. So we'll definitely see if they can bounce back from that. Mississippi State. My good friend, ex coworker, good friend of mine, Marcus Hunter, is a professor at UT. I mean, a professor at Mississippi State. I'm trying to get him on the podcast. Is very just peeved off, and I completely understand. Toledo, they also team Toledo, and it wasn't even close. It wasn't like they called them, you know, a left and a right hook. It was more like a left right, a kick, right kick. Like it was just bad. They have a lot of work to do, Mississippi State. Of course, they're coming back from that loss at Arizona State the following week, and now the Toledo. They play Florida this week. Can they respond? Can they bounce back? We'll definitely have to stay tuned to that. But what a letdown by Mississippi State. What a complete letdown. Some marquee games for college football this week, week 4. Of course, I just mentioned Florida, Mississippi State. That's 11 a.m. Let's see. I'm just scrolling down here on this schedule. USC, Michigan, slated at 2:30. That should be a very, very interesting game. USC traveling to the Big Blue. Let's see. LSU plays UCLA. Some of the 2:30 slate games. Arkansas, Auburn. You know how they get down. SEC battle. I mentioned Memphis Navy is at 2:30. 3 o'clock, Utah, Oklahoma State. That should be a very, very, very good game. Miami plays South Florida. Florida State, can they get off the snide? They play California. And actually, to be honest, Florida State's favored by 2. Go figure. We'll definitely see about that. And I do believe this is the marquee game. Number 6, UT goes to Oklahoma. They finally get them a legit competition. Let's see how they hold up. Oklahoma, you know how they roll Oklahoma. That should be a very, very good, entertaining night game. Uh, Texas, they play UL Monroe. So yeah, I believe that would be the marquee game. Tennessee, Oklahoma, I believe College Game Day would be there. Not. I mean, I'm positive. I have to confirm that, but I'm positive that's the marquee game. They will be at, and of course, that sets up next week's epic game, Georgia and Alabama. That should be very, very, very fun game. All right, and last but certainly not least, NFL. Let me talk about week 3 of NFL. Patriots Jets Thursday night game. Jets are favored by 6.5. If I had to call it, I would probably bet that as well. I would probably bet the Jets to cover. The Jets looked like they were back in rare form against the Tennessee Titans, like I mentioned on Sunday's podcast. This is their first home game. Aaron Rodgers just don't do a lot. Just he did enough, like I said, against a very good stout Tennessee Titans defense. Patriots defense is no joke either. So definitely can't wait. I can't wait to see that as well. It's Thursday night, so you know all the crazy things can happen. Sunday's marquee game. Besides my Philadelphia Eagles playing New Orleans Saints, New Orleans is now favored by 2. I could clearly see that. I mean, their defense is just really, I mean, their offense is just clicking on all cylinders. And the Philadelphia Eagles defense, will the real defense please stand up? Like, this is a get back game. They need their defense, like I said, to show up and show out in a very tough atmosphere. Um, I just need it. I mean, I had my doubts the entire time about this team. Will Saquon Barkley work in Philadelphia? Will the defense and Vic Fangio, will they come together? Will they be better than they were last year? It's still unanswered. I mean, it's 20 giving up 22, and then I believe it was 29. I need a little bit more defense. I need, because if their pass rush does not come, that back end, I'm worried. I'm scared, and they need to show out, and so we will definitely see. A couple 2-0 teams are playing each other: the Chargers and Steelers, Houston and Minnesota. That should be a very, very, very interesting game. Down in Nashville, Malik Willis game, revenge game. And I'm going to quote that again. The Malik Willis revenge game. Green Bay, Tennessee. Wow. If Malik Willis goes down to Nashville and beats the Tennessee Titans, what now for Tennessee? Like, that a couple of my friends, shout out to Stanley Payne. This gonna be tough for them. It's gonna be tough for them. And also my boy Fred Yancey. I hope Tennessee can find a way. I really hope so. For their sake, I hope so. It's gonna be a really, really, really long week if they find a way to lose to Malik Willis coming to town. So interesting on that. Other games that might give me some interest: the Dolphins in Seattle. I believe Skylar Thompson will probably play in this game going up to Seattle. That's going to be really, really, really tough. Really, really tough for him. Let's see how he handles that atmosphere down at the 12, the 12 men down in Seattle. Baltimore and Dallas. Now, this is the late game on Fox. Baltimore disappointing. Completely disappointing performance they had. Oh, they're 0-2. The Dallas Cowboys got lit up by the New Orleans Saints. Let's just see. I mean, this is the Baltimore Ravens can't go 0-3. I mean, they really can't go 0-3. Can they go 0-3? But I fully expect the Dallas Cowboys to show up. I mean, they're not going to give up 44 points again. Their defense is going to show up. Michael Parsons is ticked off. The Lawrence is ticked off. Diggs is ticked off on that team. I fully expect them to wake up and show out. So very, very, very intrigued on how this game will play out. Baltimore -1. I wouldn't touch this game if I was betting this game. So we will definitely see how this game plays out. This should be a very, very, very entertaining. Something goofy is going to happen. These type of games. So you already know that. So we'll definitely see. Detroit and Arizona down in Arizona. Kyler Murray is back. He just looked unbelievable last week against the LA Rams. Marvin Harrison Jr. He was unbelievable. So going up against Detroit, that should be a very, very, very fun matchup down in the desert. The San Francisco 49ers play the Rams. This is a get back game for them, of course. The Rams are hurt. Puka's hurt. Puka's out. Cooper's out. Matthew Stafford was limping was limping a little bit. So, of course, 49ers coming off that disappointing loss to the Minnesota Vikings. How they respond to that. Let's see. They're favored by 7. Of course, the Sunday night game, Chiefs and Falcons. Patrick Mahomes. Will Taylor Swift be down in Atlanta? I would not be surprised if she is. And we have 2 Monday night football games, which is just very odd, but it's football, 2 games on Monday. Hey, what can you say? Jacksonville and Buffalo, Josh Allen, and Trevor Lawrence going at it, and the Washington Commanders and Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati can't go 0-3. They cannot go 0-3. Especially when you have the rookie sensation Jalen Daniels coming to town. You gotta. This is a very important game for the Cincinnati Bengals. Very, very, very important. So definitely see how they respond to it as well. To finish off the rest of the games, Carolina and the Las Vegas Raiders. The Carolina benching Bryce Young, very disrespectful. I just don't understand it. It's not his fault that the team is just not orchestrated and not built well enough right now. I would have. This is just me being a GM, put my GM hat on. Just play with Bryce Young the rest of the season, and then just go for it from there. What can you do? I understand that it's just not looking great for Carolina, but after the coach just said, like, I'm not making a quarterback change, he's my guy. And for him to just flip flop in 24 hours is very low key disrespectful. Bryce Young, I hope he recovers from this. I don't know if he could. I really don't know. I mean, his confidence is definitely shot down because of this, but we'll definitely see how he responds to this, and maybe he can get another fresh start next year. Time will tell. I don't know, but prayers up to Bryce Young in that entire situation. Chicago and Indy, I mentioned that. The New York Giants and the Cleveland Browns, and the Denver Broncos and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, yeah, those are all the slated games for Week 3 in the NFL. Should be fun. Should be exciting. Should be some blowouts. Should not be some blow. We'll definitely see. But it's Week 3, and NFL season is rolling. All right. Quickly, some quick entertainment news that I wanted to give. These are my final thoughts, and it's 2 people that I wanted to talk about on this episode. One is the Unc Shannon Sharp. Of course, you guys have heard. If you've been living under a rock, I apologize for that. But Unc Shannon Sharp went on IG Live by mistake. He did not know he was on IG Live, and it was an audio of him and a young lady, Michelle. Michelle is being famous. They were having sexual intercourse with each other, but you could just hear it. You couldn't see it on IG Live. Uncle Unc Shannon Sharp did not know he was on IG Live. The audio was on. He embraced it. At first he didn't. He was like, okay, I was hacked. But then he went on his podcast, his YouTube podcast, and said, no, it was me. It was a mistake. I threw the phone down and it just happened to be on IG Live. I apologize. I don't know if I buy that. I mean, I respect you and what you're doing in entertainment. A great athlete, Hall of Famer. You're one of the people that I would love to meet. You know, he seems like a very cool guy, very intelligible guy. I really think my honest opinion that he was trying to record what they were doing. He just happened to be on Instagram Live, and it's just because there's just so many variables and to get into IG Live that it's just I find it hard to believe that you just threw the phone down and bam, you're on IG Live. I believe he got pressured. I believe he hears what everybody's saying on the outside about his sexuality. Does he like the questioning it? And I think it really got to him. He's never gonna admit it, but I think it got to him. I just think it's unfortunate that this happened to him, but of course he apologized. ESPN didn't do anything about it. Paul Pierce was very upset that nothing happened to him, which Paul Pierce, you just stay at Fox Sports One, do your thing. You got a job. Why are you worried about another black man's job? Like, just let that go. But unfortunately for Unc Shannon Sharp, that happened to him. Seems to have embraced it. I believe an adult star porn people, I believe, try to offer him a job. He denied it. I believe it's a PR move, of course, because people are saying, well, he endorsed his red popping pill, sex pill, like minutes before he apologized. So, keep doing what you do with Chad Ochocinco. Respect what they're doing up in there, Chad and Ocho. So night cap. Um, so like I said, no harm, no foul. But shout out to Shannon Sharp. He's doing his thing, and I would, I like I said, I would personally like to meet him. He's very good at what he does in his interview. Like we all know. So mistakes happen. You live like from it and understand what happened, and you just move forward. So, you know, Unc's just gonna be Unc. So that's my take on that. And finally, Diddy was arrested. I believe we knew this was coming. I didn't know how fast him he get arrested. I didn't know. Um, Interesting how this will play out. Will he start telling on people that were actually like, will he start ratting? Will he start telling exactly what happened during these parties? And will other people get lined up into the fury? It's interesting how this is going to play out in the court system, of course. It's just going to be very, very, very interesting. So, of course, when things develop, news happens like this. I will definitely be right here with you guys to break all that down and let you know how I feel about that. And also Donald Trump getting attempted assassination yet again, shooting. He was at his golf course this past weekend. Very, very unfortunate. I might have my views about Donald Trump, but if you try to take a man's life, of course I'm gonna say something about that. It's just bad. And that guy being arrested should be arrested and see time. Let the system take its course. Should have never done that to a former president of the United States. But Donald Trump, I pray for him. I pray for everybody. And Donald Trump is going through it right now. Of course, he's in a presidential election going on against Kamala Harris. So we'll definitely see how this plays out. Of course, the election coming up really, really soon. So it's getting heated, you guys. It's getting heated, and it's just pray for this country. Like I said, this country is going through a lot right now. Everybody's going through a lot. My family, your family. So just prayers up to everybody. To everybody's safe and everybody can enjoy their life. Okay, if there is nothing else that I can think of, and I really can't, that will conclude this wonderful episode, you guys. Please, like I said, please subscribe to this channel on YouTube at Throw It Down Big Fella, and follow on Instagram at Throw It Down Big Fella Pod. That will conclude this episode. I am your host, Greg Rufus. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next week. Enjoy the football. Stay safe, and just enjoy life. But until then, you guys, peace out.
Throw it down, big man.